All right, let's get right into it. A huge lawsuit is taking aim at the single biggest VA home loan provider in the entire country. Today, we're breaking down the class action case against Veterans United. And folks, this is a big one. It could completely change how millions of veterans buy their homes. And really, this whole case boils down to one critical question. Is the number one VA lender in the country actually misleading the very veterans it claims to serve? I mean, that's a heavy accusation. And according to the people suing, the answer is a definite, resounding yes. All right, so let's start at the beginning. We're talking about the moment this whole thing kicked off and sent some serious shockwaves through the real estate world, the day the lawsuit was actually filed. So, the date was February 18th. That's when the legal papers dropped, putting a true mortgage giant squarely in the hot seat. And the target? None other than Veterans United Home Loans, who are now staring down a massive class action lawsuit. Okay, let's unpack the key details here, because they're pretty interesting. The suit was filed in Missouri, which, has been ground zero for some other massive real estate lawsuits recently. The plaintiffs? They're U.S. military veterans, and their legal muscle is a firm called Higgins Berman. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it should. They're the same folks who've been going after the entire real estate industry over commission fees. And get this, they aren't just looking for compensation. Nope, they're going for punitive damages, which is basically the legal system's way of punishing a company and sending a huge message. So, what are the specific claims here? What exactly is Veterans United being accused of? Let's dive in and break down these allegations. Okay, the first major claim goes right to the heart of the company's entire image. We're talking about an allegation of deceptive branding. So the lawsuit is basically saying that the name Veterans United itself, plus their big slogan, the nation's #1 VA lender, is all designed to be misleading. The plaintiffs argue that it gives people the impression that they're somehow officially connected to the government, or the VA, when in reality, they're just a private, for-profit company like any other lender. All right, now for the second allegation, and this one's a lot more complex, and honestly, it's potentially way more explosive. It's all about an alleged system of illegal steering and kickbacks. So what in the world is steering? Let's just be super clear on this. It's an illegal practice where someone, like your real estate agent, guides you or, steers you toward a specific lender. And not because it's the best deal for you, but for some other reason that benefits them. The bottom line is it's all about limiting your choices as a homebuyer. So the lawsuit describes what it calls a perpetual loop, and it supposedly works like this. Step 1. Veterans United gives valuable sales leads to a network of real estate agents. Pretty standard so far, right? But here's step 2. In exchange for those leads, the agents are allegedly required to steer their home buying clients right back to Veterans United for the loan. And the catch? Step 3. If an agent doesn't play ball and send clients back, the lawsuit claims the leads get cut off. And who gets hurt in this whole cycle? Well, the suit says it's the home buyer who might end up stuck with higher fees or rates because they were never even told about better options. Now, this whole alleged loop, if it's true, would be a massive violation of a federal law called RESPA, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. That law was put in place for one big reason, to stop these kinds of hidden kickbacks for business referrals. It's all about making sure you, the consumer, get a fair shake. And the lawyer for the plaintiffs, Steve Berman, he was not mincing words. He came out and said these mortgage companies should be ashamed of their underhanded business tactics and made a point to say they are wholly unaffiliated with the military. I mean, that is a direct shot right there. Okay, so with the battle lines clearly drawn, let's take a look at the key players on each side of this courtroom showdown. So on one side of the courtroom, you've got 3 U.S. military veterans. They're the lead plaintiffs, but they're representing what could be a massive class of homebuyers going back to 2020. And on the other side, it's Veterans United Home Loans, plus its parent company and its realty affiliate. And, as we mentioned, the firm driving the whole case is that national class action heavyweight, Higgins Berman. Now, for their part, Veterans United isn't just sitting back. They've come out swinging. A spokesperson gave a really clear statement saying, "We deny the accusations and look forward to disputing this through the legal process." So yeah, they're making it crystal clear. They plan to fight this thing all the way. Okay, but to really understand the significance here, we need to kind of zoom out for a second. Because this lawsuit against Veterans United, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's not an isolated event. It's actually just the latest shot fired in a much, much bigger battle. I mean, look at the timeline.
you start to see a very clear pattern. That same law firm, Hagens Berman, has been on a tear. In just the months leading up to this, they filed similar steering and RESPA lawsuits against industry giants like Zillow and then Rocket Mortgage. So this makes the Veterans United case look less like an outlier and more like the next big domino to fall in a huge legal challenge to how this whole industry works.
Okay, so beyond all the legal jargon and courtroom drama, what are the real-world stakes? Why does any of this matter to you? Especially if you're even thinking about buying a home someday. Well, the potential impact here is just enormous. For one, these lawsuits are challenging the very foundation of how a lot of real estate deals get done, this whole system of lead generation and referrals. If the plaintiffs win, it could completely dismantle these kinds of networks, forcing a whole new level of transparency and giving home buyers, actual freedom of choice. And maybe most importantly, it puts a massive spotlight on business practices that specifically target military service members and asks if those practices are really in their best interest. So when you step back, you see this isn't just one company, one lawsuit. It's part of a legal tidal wave that's crashing against the very foundations of the real estate industry. And it leaves us with this one huge question. Are we watching the beginning of a fundamental ground-up change in how Americans buy homes? I guess we'll have to wait and see.